The scene opens on a bright Monday morning, the first day of classes at Prestige International University, a place where the buildings shine like glass and ambition fills the air. Students chatter, dressed in designer clothes, scrolling through their sleek phones. The camera pans to the back of the classroom, a quiet girl clutching her worn backpack, her fingers trembling around a cheap notebook. Her name is Amara. She stands as the professor announces, "Let's begin with introductions." Amara walks slowly to the front, her old sandals squeaking slightly on the polished floor. Dozens of unfamiliar eyes follow her, curious, judgmental. Her voice is soft, uncertain. "Good morning. My name is Amara. I come from Lunda Village. I'm honored to be here." Her accent is thick, rural, raw, beautiful in its own way. But to the city students it sounds strange. A few giggles echo. Then whispers. Someone mutters, "Where did they even find her?" Another smirks. "Did she walk here from her farm?" Amara pretends not to hear. She focuses on the professor's smile, the only kind face in the room. But before she can continue, a boy near the front, confident, stylish, and arrogant, interrupts her. He mimics her voice exaggeratedly. "Good morning. My name is Amara." The class erupts in laughter. Phones come out. Some record her, others whisper jokes. Amara freezes. Her throat tightens. Her hands shake. The professor clears his throat sharply. "That's enough." But the damage is done. Amara forces a small smile. Not because she's okay, but because she refuses to cry in front of them. Her eyes, however, betray her, shining with humiliation and quiet strength. They thought they were laughing at a girl with an accent, but what they didn't know was that they were laughing at a dream they could never understand. The camera lingers on Amara as she walks back to her seat, clutching her notebook tighter. Inside its worn pages are scribbled lines of speeches she's written since she was 12. Words of hope, courage, and strength. As she sits, she whispers under her breath, "One day, I'll make them listen." The laughter fades into the background, replaced by a faint heartbeat sound, her resolve growing stronger beneath the noise. The class glows in bright artificial light, shallow, cold. Amara's face glows in soft natural sunlight streaming through the window, warm, determined. That day, they didn't just laugh at her accent, they laughed at her dreams. But every great voice begins as a whisper the world tries to silence. Golden sunlight spills over a quiet African village. The air hums with birdsong, and children chase each other through red dust. At the center of the small community stands a little wooden stool, and on it, a young Amara, no older than 10, holding a tattered book in her small hands. Her voice rings out, clear and full of life, as she reads aloud to a small group of villagers. "Believe in yourself, even when the world does not." The crowd claps and laughs warmly. Her mother, Mama Chica, stands proudly at the back, her hands folded, eyes glistening with pride. She calls out, "That's my daughter, the one who will speak for the people one day." After the reading, Amara runs to her mother, breathless and smiling. "Did I do well, Mama?" Her mother kneels, brushing dust from Amara's cheeks. "You did more than well, my child. You made them listen. Your voice will change lives one day." The two sit by the fire that night, the stars glittering above them. Her mother weaves a basket while Amara practices her speeches, pretending the stars are her audience. "Good evening, everyone. My name is Amara, and I believe—" Her mother interrupts gently. "No, say it like you mean it." She taps Amara's chest. "The strength is here, not just here." She points to her throat. Amara tries again, louder this time, her voice echoing into the night. Her mother smiles, a smile that carries both pride and fear. The same village, the same stool. But now Amara is older, standing before a smaller crowd. Her mother lies sick inside their hut. The neighbors whisper that she won't last long. After her speech, Amara runs inside. Her mother, frail but smiling, holds her hand weakly. "Promise me something, Amara." "Anything, Mama. No matter how hard life gets, no matter how they laugh, never stop speaking the truth. Your voice is your gift. Don't let the world take it." Tears stream down Amara's face as her mother's hand goes limp in hers. The fire outside fades to embers, and so does her laughter, a classroom filled with chatter. Amara sits quietly in the corner, staring out the window. Her classmates are busy debating, their polished city accents flowing easily. The professor says, "Any volunteers to speak?" Amara lowers her eyes, pretending to take notes. A brief silence, the same silence that once feared her voice, now rules her. There was a time when her voice brought people together. Now, it only brought her shame. Her fingers trace a small beaded bracelet her mother once made, her last memory of home. Outside the window, the city skyline glows cold and distant. Inside, Amara's lips move silently, repeating her mother's words under her breath. Never stop speaking the truth. A tear falls, not from weakness, but from the weight of a promise she's still too afraid to keep. Students crowd around a large notice board covered with colorful posters. Laughter, chatter, and camera flashes fill the air. At the center of the crowd, a new poster flaps in the breeze. Winner represents the university on national TV. A ripple of excitement runs through the students. Amara stands at a distance, clutching her books. She reads the words silently, her heart beating faster. A chance to speak, her dream, her calling, right in front of her. But before she can even take a step closer, a familiar voice cuts through the crowd. "Oh, look, maybe Amara should enter," one of her classmates mocks. "She'll win for most confusing accent." Laughter explodes. Amara freezes, forcing a small, painful smile. She wants to defend herself, but her voice locks inside her chest. Quiet girl from her literature class, watching from nearby. She walks up, brushing past the others. "Don't listen to them," she says softly. "They're loud because they're scared. You've got something real." Amara looks at her, unsure. "You really think I could?" Lena nods. "You don't need to sound like them to be heard. You just need to mean what you say." That night in her small dorm room, Amara places her phone on the desk and stares at herself in the mirror. Her reflection looks uncertain, a girl caught between fear and fire. She takes a deep breath. "Good evening, everyone. My name is Amara." Her voice cracks. She stops, embarrassed even though no one is there. She tries again, stronger this time. At first, all she hears are her flaws, the uneven tones, the accent that once drew laughter. But the more she listens, the more she notices something else. Emotion. Her voice carries warmth, rhythm, heart, something no classroom pronunciation could teach. Amara looking at herself in the mirror. She whispers, "Maybe it's not broken. Maybe it's beautiful." Her phone light glows faintly, reflecting in her eyes. She records again, her tone steadier, her words deliberate. "Our accents are not mistakes. They are stories. They carry the soil of where we come from." Days pass. She practices in secret, in the library corners, in empty hallways, even under the campus trees when no one is around. Each night, she listens to her recordings, her confidence growing, her fear fading, but the memory of laughter still lingers, ghosts of mockery echoing in her mind. One evening, Lena finds her alone, standing under a street lamp with her phone in hand. "You're still doubting yourself?" Lena asks. Amara smiles faintly. "Sometimes I hear my voice and think, who would ever listen?" Lena replies gently, "Someone who needs courage. Someone like the girl you used to be." She looks at the competition poster again, folded neatly in her notebook, the date circled in red. "Then I'll speak," she whispers. Not for them, but for her. Amara's breath forms small clouds as she stands alone in the courtyard, speech notes trembling in her hands. The competition is only a few days away. Every day she practices before sunrise, when the world is quiet and no one can hear her mistakes. "Good morning. My name is Amara, and today I speak for those who—" Her voice falters. The words slip away. She sighs, lowering her head. The echo of laughter from weeks ago still haunts her. The giggles, the mocking tones, the mimicry of her accent. She folds her paper, her eyes stinging. Amara watches from afar, feeling smaller by the second. Her friend Lena appears, carrying 2 cups of tea. "You've been up since 5 again?" she asks. Amara nods silently. "They sound so perfect," she whispers. Lena smiles gently. Perfection isn't always powerful. Amara forces a smile, but her doubt lingers. Amara practices her speech in front of a small group of students. She trembles as she speaks, mispronounces a few words. The group exchanges glances, polite smiles hiding amusement. When she finishes, There's awkward applause. One student mutters, "She's brave to even try." Another whispers, "She should focus on something else." Amara gathers her papers quickly and leaves. Her eyes wet. She wanders into an empty lecture hall, quiet, dusty, still. Her reflection stares back from the glass podium. She whispers to herself, "Maybe I don't belong here after all." Just then, a gentle voice interrupts. It's Professor Daniels, an elderly lecturer known for his kindness. He steps inside, holding a cup of tea. "You've been spending a lot of time here, haven't you?" Amara nods, embarrassed. "I was just practicing." Studies her face, though I'm not sure it matters. "You think your voice isn't enough?" Amara looks down. "It's different." People laugh. The professor smiles faintly. "Different is where greatness begins. Tell me, do you think the world remembers the loudest voices or the honest ones?" She hesitates. "The honest ones." He nods. "Exactly. Great speeches don't come from perfect voices. They come from real ones." Something shifts inside her, a flicker of realization. He continues, "You've been trying to sound like them. But the world doesn't need another copy. It needs you, exactly as you are." Those words echo in her heart long after he leaves. That night, Amara sits by the window with her old notebook open. She crosses out her entire speech, the one filled with polished phrases and rehearsed lines, and begins again. Her pen moves with new energy. "They laughed at my voice once, but I learned that laughter fades, and courage echoes." She writes about acceptance, about identity, about the power of not hiding who you are. Tears fall on the pages, but this time they aren't of pain, they're of release. Days turn into nights. The fear that once ruled her begins to fade, replaced by something new. Calm confidence. She no longer tries to hide her accent. She shapes her words with emotion, each syllable carrying her journey, her mother's voice, her village's rhythm. Little Amara reading aloud to the villagers, her mother clapping and saying, "Your voice will change lives one day." Back to present, Amara closes her eyes, repeating softly, "Mama, I'll make you proud." The night before the competition, Amara stands on the rooftop of her dorm. The city glows below, a sea of lights. She holds her phone, plays her last recording. Her voice fills the air, confident, sincere, unbroken. Lena joins her, smiling. "You sound ready." Amara nods, though her eyes glisten. "I'm not just ready to speak," she says softly. "I'm ready to be heard." Sunrise filters through the tall windows of the university auditorium. Students bustle, contestants prepare, cameras set up. Amara walks in quietly, her notebook pressed to her chest. Her heartbeat is loud, but her steps are steady. The same classmates who once mocked her glance curiously. Something about her feels different now. She isn't hiding anymore. When you stop trying to sound like the world, that's when the world finally listens. Amara steps onto the stage, her eyes calm, her shoulders straight. Her time to speak is near. The hall buzzes with anticipation. Rows of students, professors, and guests fill the seats. Cameras flash, murmurs ripple like quiet waves. Backstage, Amara stands near the curtain, her palms sweaty, her heart drumming in her chest. She can hear snippets of conversation from the crowd. "That's the scholarship girl, right?" "Yeah, the one with the funny accent." "Oh, this should be interesting." Each word cuts, but she exhales slowly, remembering her mother's last words. Never stop speaking the truth, no matter how they laugh. Next speaker, Amara Ndlovu, representing Crescent University. The spotlight shifts. She steps forward. The stage feels enormous, lights blinding, the audience endless. Her shoes echo softly on the wooden floor. Her hands tremble. As she reaches the microphone, a small squeak escapes as she adjusts it. A few chuckles ripple through the audience. She freezes, eyes wide, the same laughter she's heard all her life. But this time she doesn't flinch. She closes her eyes, inhales deeply, and whispers to herself. Real voices aren't perfect. They're real. Then she begins, "Good morning. My name is Amara Ndlovu. I come from a small village where the sky was our roof, and hope was our only teacher." Her accent rolls heavy and proud across the auditorium, strong, rhythmic, unapologetic. Some people exchange glances, others lean forward, curious. "I was told that my voice was too different, that people wouldn't listen. But I learned something. The world doesn't need another perfect voice. It needs a true one." The room begins to quiet. The murmurs fade. Her tone softens. She begins to tell them about her mother, how she used to read under oil lamps, how her mother whispered, "Your voice will change lives one day." Her words carry warmth, grief, pride, all in one. A few audience members bow their heads. Some nod, captivated. When I first came here, I tried to hide my accent, because I thought sounding like you would make me worthy of being heard. But every time I silenced my voice, I silenced my story. Tears shine in her eyes, but she doesn't stop. Her voice trembles, then grows stronger. So today, I speak with the same voice that my mother gave me. I speak for every child who was laughed at for sounding different, for every girl who was told her dream was too big for her village. I speak, not to fit in, but to stand out. The same classmates who once mocked her now stare in silence, their laughter replaced by awe. Even the arrogant student who once mimicked her looks down, guilt flickering across his face. Her words echo through the hall, deep and resonant. Our voices carry our history, our struggles, our love. If I lose that, what story will I have left to tell? A hush blankets the entire room. Amara pauses, taking one final breath. She looks up toward the ceiling lights, as if speaking to the heavens. My mother once said, "When you speak with your heart, the world will listen, even if it laughs first." I think she was right. A single tear falls down her cheek. She smiles softly, whispering her final line. So laugh if you must, but remember this voice, this accent, this truth is mine. Then, applause. At first, hesitant, then louder and louder. Within seconds, the entire hall is on its feet, clapping, cheering, some even crying. Lena runs backstage, covering her mouth in disbelief. Amara stands frozen, eyes wide, the sound of applause washing over her like a rising tide. She bows her head, overwhelmed. In that moment, the laughter that once humiliated her transforms into applause that redeems her. They once laughed at her accent, but now the world listens in silence. Amara steps down from the stage, no longer the accent girl, but the girl who taught an entire auditorium that authenticity is power. Amara stands still, eyes glistening, her final words echoing through the hall. This voice, this truth, is mine. Then, silence. A deep, stunned silence fills the auditorium. No one moves. You could hear a pin drop. Her heart races. She thinks she's failed. Her gaze drops to the floor, hands trembling at her sides. Then a single clap breaks the stillness. It's her friend Lena, standing proudly, then another clap, and another. Within seconds, the hall erupts. Hundreds of people rise to their feet, clapping, cheering, shouting her name. Tears blur Amara's vision as she scans the crowd. Faces that once mocked her now lit with admiration. Even the arrogant student who mimicked her accent lowers his head, guilt replacing pride. Her professor wipes away a tear, whispering, "I told you, real voices don't need perfection." Amara presses a hand to her heart. The applause feels endless. Waves of validation, not for being flawless, but for being herself. The host steps onto the stage, voice trembling with excitement. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this year's Intercollegiate Speech Championship, Amara Ndlovu. The crowd roars, flashbulbs ignite, confetti falls like rain. Amara stands frozen, overwhelmed. Her lips quiver into a smile, not of pride, but disbelief. She looks up, whispering quietly, "We did it, Mama." Within days, her story spreads beyond the university. Clips of her speech flood social media, millions of views, comments praising her courage. Messages pour in. "You spoke for me. Your accent sounds like mine. You made me proud of my roots." Emails from universities, conferences, NGOs, all wanting her to speak. Her voice, once silenced by shame, now becomes a symbol of authenticity and strength. She stands on new stages now, looking out at thousands instead of dozens. Every time she begins, she keeps her accent pure and strong. The same melody that once drew laughter now draws standing ovations. She once hid her voice, believing it made her less. But the truth is, her difference was her power. They laughed at her accent once. Now, the world listens in silence. Students rush to her, asking for photos, hugs, autographs. She smiles humbly, saying, "Don't let anyone tell you your voice doesn't belong. It's not about sounding right. It's about saying what's real." As she walks into the evening light, camera pans upward, the same sky from her village nights, filled with stars. A breeze passes gentle, like her mother's whisper. "Your voice did change lives, my child." Amara looks up, smiles softly, and whispers, "And it's only the beginning. Never hide your truth to sound like someone else. The world needs your voice, exactly as it is." Amara steps off a dusty bus, her heels touching the same ground she once walked barefoot on. Children run alongside her, excitedly shouting her name. "Amara's back!" The once quiet village now has a new energy. A banner hangs across the community hall. "Welcome home, the girl with the voice." Inside, Amara stands before a small crowd of young students, some shy, some curious, all eager. She smiles, her accent unchanged, her presence glowing with calm. "When I was your age, they laughed at how I spoke. They said my voice didn't belong in big places. But I learned something. It's not the voice that needs to change. It's the world that needs to listen." The children nod, their faces lighting up with admiration. She holds a small, faded photo of her mother, smiling gently through the years. Amara whispers, "You were right, Mama. My voice did change lives." A tear falls. But it's not from sadness. It's peace. As she stands again, she looks at the sky and continues speaking to the children gathered around. "Never hide who you are. Speak with your heart, even if your voice shakes. The world doesn't need perfect voices. It needs real ones." A gentle breeze moves through the trees, as if her mother's spirit is listening, proud and free. And so, the girl they laughed at became the woman they listened to. Her accent didn't fade. It became her strength. For every voice that was once silenced, speak again.